Hey, how's it going, guys? Welcome to... god damn it. Senran Kagura Peach Ball. Merry Christmas, everybody. I know what I want for Christmas. God. I am so glad I double-locked my door. Anyway, this is a pinball spin-off. This is a port from Switch, featuring the Senran Kagura characters. It's quite obvious. Oh my lord. Alright, let's just get into it. Okay, options menu. Separate audio sliders. It's got a full screen windowed and borderless windowed mode, and you can go beyond 1080p for resolution, which is nice. That was patched in. This game came out in August of this year. It came out a little bit earlier on Switch, so it's finally on PC, and this is after we got the awful Reflections port on PC, and, God, at this point, I don't know if I should be disappointed or you're just not surprised at all, because this is once again a pretty bare-bones kind of spin-off game. It feels like a cash grab. You've essentially got a very limited amount of, like, meat to this game, like content, and at the same time, you've got a ton of effort put into, like, the animations and the effects. It's a cool-looking pinball game, but unfortunately, the core pinball mechanics are pretty shallow. And yeah, I know it's a pinball game, but they're charging $40 for it. You're essentially getting 2 tables, a very brief story mode, and not much else. I mean, yeah, you could dress up your girls like you can in the other games, but there's already $50 of DLC. It's really infuriating. It's like, we get the port late, and we have to, you know, get subjected to, like, the typical Japanese waifu game DLC practices, which means the DLC is going to cost more than the base game. Also, what's wrong with her? Look at her right arm. Connected to her shoulder. It's like, where's the shoulder? Ugh. I take it back. It doesn't have a lot of effort put into it. Ugh. Okay, let's just start a game. God, my family's gonna disown me. Alright. I haven't played too much of it. Sorry. There's just not a whole lot to say, honestly. Good God. Okay, there's several stages for each girl. There's a bit of a storyline here and there. There's also a free play mode. There's a limited selection of girls, too. The whole plot is that one of the girls, Haruka, mixed a chemical potion when she was bored, and it turns people into furries. I mean, it's just so weird. Because, like, I was watching One Piece the other day. I finally got into it again. And, like, they're on this mink tribe island where they're all furries, like, and then now there's a furry character on the crew that might be a permanent member, and now I'm playing this and it's more furries. What happened? What did I miss? God, let's just I'm losing my goddamn mind. Alright, let's just keep going, let's keep going. Jesus, I'm sorry if this is a little different than usual. This is your Christmas video. Have fun with that. I did want to cover this game eventually at one point. I never really got code for it, though. Yeah, okay, so you select your ball, you know, you set it up, it's, you know, it's got a cool little intro right here. Like, a lot of this stuff is done from scratch. Normally they just, recycle a lot of the content between games, especially with, starting with Shinobi Versus. They've been doing that a lot with the dialogue interactions, but this stuff, new animations, new little effects here and there, it's pretty cool, honestly. So, it's a typical pinball game. You gotta shoot it between our legs to get the most amount of points. There's all kinds of little mini-games you can complete, mission modes, and oh my god, this is... Really? Already? Okay, well yeah, you're supposed to knock her down, and then what happens is that... Really? Okay, whatever. You just gotta hit her, bop her, You can complete mission objectives. What's a little annoying is that, because the game is still entirely in Japanese in terms of voice work, it's very hard to read what's happening on the left side of the screen. And there are these mini-games you can achieve. Now, my biggest problem right now is, again, the fundamentals of the game are kind of broken. So yeah, you know, it's a typical pinball game. You have all these little bonuses and, you know, flashy lights and all that stuff, but, the camera could use a little bit of work. It kind of just jumps around everywhere sometimes, and it doesn't give you a lot of... Oh boy. Oh boy. This is illegal. But yeah, you just don't see where the ball's going sometimes, and other times you don't see your flippers on screen. So the ball, like, gets really close to the flippers without you seeing where it's positioned. So it can get a little frustrating. Like, sometimes you screw up a, Oh god. Oh no. I might as well just start swearing too. Fuck the advertisers. The only thing that we're gonna get on this video for ads are dragon dildos and hot singles in your area. There's also no analog triggers on the flippers, which is annoying. Sometimes you can't really do like a tap so well, so it's like, you know, it's a little bit difficult to do precise hits. And you can shake the table, of course, to knock the girl off balance and, like, you know, get better control of the ball, but I don't know, the table just feels very cramped and small. It just doesn't flow that well, even though, like, the effects and the animations are really nice to look at. And I can't help but remember this this test I had in grade school and high school for, like, SATs and, like, really important, like, I don't know, tests they would do for us. Basically, there was this one. You guys might even remember if you were, you know, had, you know, any kind of basic English class in the US. There was a writer, and he was writing about pinball versus, I don't know, video games, right? And this is, like, the early days of video games, like the 70s, 80s. So he's like, oh yeah, so, you know, video games are really cool, but you always know where the power-ups are, right? You always know. And with a pinball, you never know where that ball is going to go, so it's really unpredictable. Therefore, I feel that pinball is more interesting and more surprising than a video game. And I'm just, like, playing this, and I'm like, could you imagine? Could you imagine this game? Could you imagine something like this next to, I don't know, fucking Pac-Man and asteroids? At your local pinball arcade. Oh my god. In the 70s. But basically the whole premise is you shoot it up her legs during certain points, and you get these little cutscenes, and that's about it. You repeat ad nauseum. There's not enough to do. It's $40. There is a story, but God, it's just so shallow for $40. I'm actually kind of disappointed. See, like, you know, this is the whole thing. And again, they look great. The animations, like, the effects, everything just shining on the screen, it's like a regular pinball game. There's a lot of effort put into it, which is, it's just shocking that there's nothing. Like, there's 2 tables. There's 5 characters. Might be getting those numbers wrong. But, you know, you get it. I mean, even Burst, which was just a remake, you know, there was some level variety. And Zen Pinball FX3, I think it's called, or Pinball FX3. It's a pinball game on Steam. You can get, like, tables for it that are super cheap, and there's a lot of creativity put in those games. They got licensed pinball machines too, and you know that game has its own problems, but it's a lot more satisfying to play than this. There's a really good Plants vs. Zombies table in that one too, and a few Star Wars ones, Marvel as well. I like the novelty. I think it's kind of a cool game, but it's just so bare bones. Like, this is what you're going to be doing for a few hours. Playing the same tables over and over again. I consider myself a fan of this franchise, and I just wouldn't recommend this. Maybe at, like, $15, $10, yeah, okay. If you're desperate for a new pinball game. But again, Pinball FX3, it's on Steam. I mean, you know, this game does have titties in it, so I guess you got that. Alright, whatever. I am going to stop playing this before I get arrested. Anyway, guys, thank you so much for watching. Have a great Christmas. Have a Merry Christmas. Have a great holiday. Have a great New Year! I'll see you next time. I'm out.